So yeah, my top six prediction for the 2024-2025 Premier League season. Starting at number six, I'm starting with Spurs. Last season, honestly, Spurs took us by surprise. I'll say, yeah, they took us by surprise because the previous season, I think they finished below where they finished like last season, and it was Ange Postecoglou's first season. He came with a very attacking kind of football, high line. You could see Pedro Porro, Udoji. You can see them bumping, trying to involve themselves in that attack. But you could say one thing that was a problem for Ange Postecoglou, I would say last season was, yeah, despite the fact he had some injury issues and also the fact that he stuck to his principles too much, and I don't think it has to be one way. It just have to be that way. I think there are some games where you need to adapt. Maybe you need to be more defensive. You need to show respect to the team. You need to show respect to the team. But he believes maybe it has to be that his style of play. If it's not that style of play, no other way. But the reason why I'm putting them at number six again also is just the fact that they'll be in the Champions League this season, and do they have the squad to actually play both in the Premier League? Sorry, they'll be in the Europa League, rather, not in the Champions League, the Europa League this season. Do they have the squad to play in the Premier League and also in the Europa League? That's every Thursday night. They brought in Solanke, a very good, like a good striker. He showed prospect last season. So this season, because last season they were not really in the Champions League or in Europe, it was just, I think, weekend football and FA Cup and the Carling Cup. They were not really in Europe. So, but for this season, do they really have that squad? Will Ange Postecoglou be willing to adapt to show respect to some teams, whereby when he needs to defend more and just to maybe hit them on the counter rather than just still playing that expansive style of football? We don't know yet, but that's why I'm putting them at number six. The reason why I just feel they don't have that squad depth to be able to play in the Premier League and also in the Europa League, and the fact that Ange Postecoglou might just want to stick to his principle, which I don't think is sustainable, especially in the Premier League. So for number six, I'll be going with Spurs. Now going for my number five, I'll be going with Liverpool. And if Klopp was here, of course Liverpool would be higher. But now, for me, will the players be still willing to give their best for this new manager? It's a new league to the manager. It's his first time in the league. And also for Liverpool, that spine of the team is still there, but would they be willing to? You saw the way those, you could tell those players were always willing to give their 100, more than 100% for Klopp, and with that energy still be there since he's a new manager. We don't know yet. Preseason, you can tell Liverpool, they've been playing so well in their preseason. Already, Zubimendi is not going to Liverpool, so there's still that little void there for that number six. Wataru Endo, you can tell, is I feel it's not a long term project. It's probably be a short term project. So they need to look for someone to replace Wataru Endo. Gravenberch can play there, McAllister can play there, but I feel that will limit them, honestly. When I mean limit them, because I feel McAllister is that guy that doesn't need to be playing that DM. He needs to be in that number eight role to go up front there and do his thing, give those passes, create those chances. That's where you get the best out of him. He can play in that role, but I don't think that is where you get the best out of McAllister. So for Arnold Slot, as his first season in the Premier League, only very few managers coming into the Premier League and do very well. Like actually go on to win the league. Very, very few. I think Mourinho and I don't know who else have done it. Even Pep in his first season didn't they win the Premier League. So new season, new league for him. Like it's his first time in the Premier League. Although you still have the spine there, the likes of the Allison, the Van Dijk, the Mo Salah, the Trent, the Robertson, they are still there. But now one injury to Van Dijk or Mo Salah, you can never tell what will happen to Liverpool. But I think, but that's why I'm putting them at number five. By number four, I'll be going with Manchester United. And people are like, Manchester United number four, considering where they finished last season. I think they finished eighth or so. And but the previous season, if we were to recall, like let me start with last season. Last season, Manchester United had lots of defensive issues, so many defensive issues, and that was a problem. It affected them throughout the season because key players were injured at the back line. But the previous season, I think we all forget that Manchester United were very good defensively, and they were one of those teams that kept the most clean sheets in the Premier League. If not, I think that season every time, if not the most clean sheet or so, and they finished third. So this season now, Manchester United have brought in um the elites, Mazzari, Len Euro, they have Maguire, they have like they've really addressed those issues at the back line. They've brought in players to address those issues. So in case Maguire or Martinez gets injured, they have Len Euro, the elite that can play there. So Luke Shaw gets injured, they've covered up for that. They've covered up for that position. Dalot is there. So I feel the issues they were having last season, they've been able to address it this season. And I just feel with a back line, a good like a defensive back line that is fit, I feel Eric Ten Hag will do better this season. That's why I'm putting them at number 4. I feel with a back line that is fit, Eric Ten Hag will do very well. We saw a little big glimpse of style of playing the Community Shield where they were moving the ball quick and all that. Of which, to be honest, I'll be very honest here, no bias. Manchester United were the better team for that Community Shield because they had very clear-cut chances and all that. But hey, at the end of the day, we showed why we're champions and we came out top. But Manchester United, that backline issue, they'll be able to address it. And I feel a fit backline for Eric Ten Hag where, no injuries. And I think he will finish very high. Maybe the number 6 position might be a problem for them, but I feel they can still be able to do well despite they should be able to still finish in 4th position, even if that number 6 position they've not really addressed it. You see, I think Amrabat is still there, Casemiro is still there. They are players that they can actually manage for that one as compared to the backline last season where almost everyone was injured. So for Manchester United, I'm giving them my number 4. Going to my number 3, I'll be going with Aston Villa. And for Aston Villa, they were in the Conference League last season and they were in the Premier League and they were still able to finish 4th, which playing on Thursday and also playing in the Premier League is not easy despite the squad they have. This season, they're in the Champions League and they're in the Premier League, so they'll be playing on Wednesday night and on weekends. So it will be much easier for them. They've lost maybe Douglas Luiz, but they still have very good players. You can say Aston Villa have one of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League. One of the best striker, Oli Watkins is very good. John McGinn is very good. They brought in Amadou Onana, so I think their team is very good. They still have a very good manager as well. Unai Emery is a very good manager. I still feel they can finish 3rd this season. I see them finishing 3rd this season. That's just my prediction. I think they can still do it. They might not really go far in the Champions League, but then again, what if they go into Europa League now? That would be a problem. But I feel they'll still be able to manage it and finish 3rd this season. They can finish 3rd. And for my number 2, I'll be going with Arsenal. And honestly, Arsenal, you can tell they are there. They are there. And if there's one team that, we push, we try to go for that title, that is trying to win that title, is Arsenal. This season, they've brought in Ricardo Califori, a very, very good signing. I think they are trying to get Moreno also. Merino from Real Sociedad as well. So you can tell they are trying to strengthen their squad and goals. Now, I'm always of the opinion Arsenal need a striker, and the reason why I say Arsenal need a striker, not because Arsenal is not a team that can't score goals or they don't have players that can score goals, but when you are going up against Pep Guardiola, it comes down to fine margins. You need to take advantage of every position. You can't leave any stone unturned when you're going up against Pep Guardiola, because it comes down to fine margins when you're coming up against Pep Guardiola. When Liverpool won the league, just look at the squad Liverpool used to win that league. They had Mo Salah that was scoring a lot of goals. They have extra at that time of the season. They had players that were extraordinary in those positions. Mo Salah was crazy, Mane crazy, Van Dijk was crazy. The midfield was stacked. Fabinho. So it comes down to fine margins when you're going up against Pep Guardiola. Everything has to be on point, from your defense, midfield, attack. Arsenal defense on point, midfield on point. But the problem is that attack. They will score goals, but will it be enough to take them over the line? That will be the problem. That's why I always feel they need a striker. That's why I always feel they need a striker, not because they can't score goals, but when you're coming up against Pep Guardiola, it comes down to very, very fine margins, and you need to take advantage of those situations. But Arsenal, second, I just feel Arsenal are just incredible. They're a very, very good team. And for first position is Manchester City. And honestly, still the best attack, still the best manager, still the best midfielders in the league. But the downside is last season Arsenal were better than us defensively. My only worry for Man City this season is if we lose Rodri now, what happens? There's no Rodri replacement, and we all know what happens whenever Rodri doesn't play. If our defense line is not really solid, it wasn't really solid last season compared to the way Arsenal's defense was. So, but I still feel we can still manage it because of that Pep Guardiola factor. We'll always create chance, and we'll always have that fear factor as well. We still have that squad depth to manage the situation. Kovacic playing in that number 6 role, he can do it. He can try to do it. I don't know what Pep might decide. Maybe Bernardo Silva can play there as well. Now that we have Savinho on the right hand side, Bernardo Silva maybe can be that person now to go into that number 6 role to do those dirty work and all that. But yeah, for Man City, still the best striker in the Premier League, Erling Haaland, the best manager, best midfield. But my only issue is just when you lose Rodri, how do we adapt to that? How do we respond to that? And also our defense, I don't think is as good as Arsenal, but I still feel we can still go on to do 5 in a row. But let me know what you think about my prediction, my top 6 prediction, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Thank you very much.